Good morning, welcome to the next podcast of Andy Collier-talks cricket memorabilia. You've all enjoyed Warwick Milne's little trip down his corridor last week. Some fantastic items he's got there on display. You saw the 1926, 1905s and earlier stereoscopic cards, so I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a fascinating weekend for me, I have to say. Nice to see it all in real life, and also went up to Gary Musker up there in Prescott near Liverpool. I've done a little video of his amazing, well, just a short one really, some cigarette items of his amazing collection. So we look forward to going back to Gary, and I'll put that video on next weekend because I should be away in Germany next weekend, so I won't be doing a podcast. So it would be quite convenient to put his on. So there we are. Anyway, of course, Tim Knight stuff has turned up this week and a few other bits and pieces. So we'll start there. We'll start with something that actually got from Warwick, which is rather large, but a fantastic photograph of Tom Hayward, signed there at the bottom. His batting pose at the Oval. Two different batting gloves there, one with pimples on and one with sausage fingers. 1906 by Herbert Tear. He signed it on the bottom. Whether you can see that or not, I don't know, but it's a nice, it's a rather large item, which I've got to now this morning put into the inner sanctum and rearrange the inner sanctum. So keep them peeled for a little photograph of that on the website. So the other thing I got off of Warwick was this lovely Our Cricketing Guests. All the names are on the back there. We've got 1884 Philadelphian team and the Australian team there. It's on the Boys' Own paper. It's probably hand coloured in at a later date, but it's a lovely thing anyway, nevertheless. So we're quite pleased to have nabbed that off of Warwick too, and that goes nicely in the inner sanctum. So now on to another couple of bits and pieces. 1930s cigarette album there, with some, well, two of them are. There's a Teddy Beckett. These are the theatre cards from 1930, and then you've got Don Bradman and Hornibrook there. Very well stuck down, so I think I'm just gonna have to either leave those in there and put the other ones in the album, or take those out and display them. But there's Vic Richardson and Alan Kippack. So I think I'm about 3 short now this series. Fortunately, I got Archie Jackson not long ago. Now Don, so they're the two main ones. And I've also got on the way Bill Woodfull, which explains the situation with these theatre cards in 1930. So anyway, onwards and upwards. I went to see Mr. Frith yesterday, and he presented me with a Night Watchman, which is a quarterly for the Wisden Cricketer. So lots of interesting stuff in there, I've got to say. Just while I remember it, Tony Partis sent me a message in the week to say that he had a message from Barry Knight's daughter over there in Australia, and he's had a bit of a stroke, so he's not too great at the moment, just before Christmas obviously, so not the best time of the year to be doing that. But anyway, all the best to Barry and his family. Hope he comes through that. So anyway, onwards to the other bits and pieces from Knights. It's a lovely signed Alan Peach and Andy Sandham photograph there from Scarborough, 1928-9. I bought that because the year before, or the auction before, I bought that when they were sitting in the pavilion. So that goes nicely with that photograph there. So they're in the pavilion and also playing at the same time. Archie McLaren's team, that was, so very nice too. And then the Master again. This is in Launceston, Tasmania, 1924. He's waiting for the Tamara. I think I've said that right, perhaps I haven't. Where are we? Oh, Miramar, sorry, beg your pardon. So it's a nice one there of Jack and his civvies, and also smoking a pipe. So he was obliging there, 1924 in Launceston. But with that came a couple of other cigarette type cards, signed ones, and we've got there we got there. Oh, Leonard Bates, a Warwickshire man, quite a useful player, Warwick Bates, when I was looking him up. On the back of that there is an unsigned one of, oh, can't quite read that, George Brown on there. He's a Hampshire man. And then we got George Gunn, a nice one there for George Gunn. An AW car undersigned on the back of that. And then a nice one of Frank Mann there. He captained him in South Africa in 22-3. So that's nice. And another nice thing that came through this week was this lovely album page of some Surrey boys there. 1931, Percy Fender at the top. And a rare one there of E. Sheffield at the bottom there. He only played about 18 games, I think, for Surrey, so quite a rarity, that one. Pleased to get that. And also Geary's quite rare as well, so quite pleased to have Geary as well. I've got a Geary, but he's not very common. On the back of that's a Northants one. But again, that's obviously a lovely autograph album that's been torn up, which is disappointing anyway. There we go. But, you know, give me the opportunity to buy that there. So I'd love to have seen the full autograph book, that's for sure. And then obviously Knights were there. Got a nice, or 4 of these, funny enough. Victorian Waterford crystal vases rather, and they are to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the birth of W.G. Grace. And you've got an etching there of W.G. Grace there, and each one actually is slightly different, I have to say, even if he's got his foot in the wrong place or slightly different cap or the bat's held differently, they are actually all different. Tim's write-up said that there's only one different, but they are actually all different. And they're numbered 1 to 150. That was the limited edition run, and there's the base that sits on. So I'm quite pleased to get there, and I'll be posting a photograph of the new display later. So that's quite a nice item there. And of course, now we've got this rather massive Charlie McCartney book, Mayhem and Artistry by Peter Lloyd. So I'm going to try and start reading that over Christmas. I've had it a week or so after a bit of a traumatic time with the post office, as usual. I noticed there, Greg Damore is a psychiatrist that's involved with this, and I expect Peter might need a psychiatrist by the end of writing this book. It looks like a classic book. I went to David Frith yesterday, who is on good form, or was on good form, and he was in receipt of one of these. He's got a bit of a third way through it, and he says it's pretty impressive. So it's also had some pretty good reviews so far. So I think they're all sold out. I think Mike Down had a couple down there in Oxfordshire, but that's a rather nice book there from Peter Lloyd. Some lovely photographs there, including one there of looks like a ferry going across Sydney. And I was just having a chat with David Frith yesterday, and he said he remembers shaking Charlie McCartney's hand at I think it was Sydney Cricket Ground, I think. So, you know, there he was, Frith and McCartney. But there we are. But anyway, that's about it for this week. It just remains for me to say happy Christmas, and I hope you've enjoyed all the videos this week, or this year, shall I say, and have a great new year. See you again. Cheers.